Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, May 12th, 2023. I just read something that had me laugh. There is nothing worse on this planet than disloyal grifters who have a show that nobody watches. It's actually quite incredible. It's actually quite incredible. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. Nice, bright and early on this Friday. Well, you know, law and order is done in the state of New York. Law and order is absolutely finished. It turns out that the virtue of the mob is really all that matters in this state now. All that matters in this city, as Daniel Penny is to be charged with second-degree manslaughter for subduing a crazy person on the New York City subway. Of course, this wasn't even brought to a grand jury. Because if Alvin Bragg had brought it to a grand jury, obviously they wouldn't have brought charges, so he just took it upon himself to charge Daniel Penny, a man who served this country honorably, in the death of Jordan Neely. And he did it after the mob told him to, okay? There's a reason why the statue, the idea of Lady Justice, is supposed to be blind in this country. You're not supposed to fall to the rule of the mob. But we don't have that in this country anymore. Now, as long as a bunch of ugly left-wing activists who serve absolutely no purpose to society whatsoever, other than to bitch and moan that they don't get their student debt relieved so they can go back to NYU to get a master's degree in underwater basket weaving with a minor in lesbian dance theory, we have to pay back those debts, and because we don't pay back those debts, people like Jordan Neely died on the subway. That's the way these people think. That is how these people think. It's absolutely disgusting what we have to deal with in this state. And you know what? All they do is bitch and moan that they don't get what they want, and then Alvin Bragg, of course, falls in line and does what the mob tells them to do. It's unbelievable. If those protests had never happened, Daniel Penny does not get charged with this crime, which lets the left-wing mob know that when they act up, they will get what they want. They will stomp their feet in the grocery store, in the candy aisle, until mom gets them the candy they want. That's all this is. That's all this is. It's nauseating. And, of course, I've said it numerous times, and people think I'm nuts, but this is very obviously a play by Alvin Bragg to eventually primary Eric Adams in the mayor's race coming up in New York. I mean, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Eric Adams is hated by his left wing because he is shipping migrants out of New York because it turns out he can't afford them. We're going to dive into the Title 42 implications in just 1 second. Also, we're going to dive into what Greg Abbott is doing down in Texas in terms of the Marine who killed the BLM protester after that protester tried to kill him. It turns out that Greg Abbott down in Texas is a hell of a lot more moral than Kathy Hochul or Mayor Eric Adams or Alvin Bragg could ever dream of being. But let's dive into this from the Daily Wire. The Marine who put Jordan Neely in a chokehold on the New York City subway to face criminal charges over the death, reports say the former Marine who put Jordan Neely in a chokehold in a subway earlier this month is expected to turn himself in on Friday to face charges in the case. Neely later died after the incident. The decision to charge 24-year-old Daniel Penny was made by Manhattan District Attorney's Office, according to a report from NBC4. An NBC correspondent, C. Fan Kim, wrote on Twitter that Penny will be charged with manslaughter in the second degree. The New York State City medical examiner confirmed last Wednesday that Neely died from a chokehold and ruled the death a homicide, although criminal proceedings would be necessary to determine intent or culpability. This is unreal. Unreal. In a statement released by the law firm Razor and Kniff PC, we would like to be the first to express on behalf of Daniel Penny our condolences to those close to Mr. Neely. Mr. Neely had had a documented history of violent and erratic behavior, that the apparent result of ongoing and untreated mental illness. When Mr. Neely began aggressively threatening Daniel Penny and other passengers, Daniel, with the help of others, acted to protect themselves until help arrived. Daniel never intended to harm Mr. Neely and could not foresee the untimely death. For too long, those suffering from mental illness have been treated with indifference. We hope that out of this awful tragedy will come a new commitment by our elected officials to address the mental health crisis in our streets and subways. Look, it's this is not the way this world is supposed to be, okay? This is not how this was supposed to go. In America, in this country, the mob doesn't rule, okay? Just because enough people block the F train does not mean someone ought to be charged with a crime. But Alvin Bragg, yes, exactly, the man who kidnapped a 7-year-old, along with a long list of criminal crimes. I bet if he were not black, one thing would have been done, because black on black crime doesn't matter to the media and the Democratic-run cities. Anthony, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Sharon, you are correct as well. But this is what happens when you let a city fall, when you let the mob run the show. These are the things that you get. And it's amazing. This man, Daniel Penny, is looking at, I don't know. What's the sentence here? 3 to 15 years. 3 to 15 years. This man's going to go to jail. And you know what, guys? I got news for you. He's going to be convicted. He's going to be convicted. Unless he gets pressure to take some kind of a plea deal where he spends a year in jail for defending himself and others on the train. I want to be clear, guys. This is how you get Bernie Getz situations. This is how you get people taking matters into their own hands. You live in a defund the police world. The police get defunded. There's no cops on the subway because that's not what AOC wants, the leader of the cult. And this is what you get. It's the 80s all over again. It's the 80s all over again. And I hope that the Manhattan Republican Party is going to find somebody to run for mayor of New York. However, have all the Republicans left? Are they all gone? Is there anyone actually left around to vote in some sort of a Republican in the city of New York? I very much doubt so. I very much doubt it. And it's a shame. This poor kid's going to rot in jail, who did more for this country than Jordan Neely ever would have done. This guy was a scourge on society. He was on a list of New York City's top 50 insane homeless people. There's 8 million people in the New York area. And this guy made a list of the top 50 known to police with a rap sheet as long as my arm. And now this decorated Marine is going to go to jail. It's a travesty. This is the world we've set up for ourselves. This is the world that we now live in. Guys, as we keep going on this, please do hit that like button on Facebook. Share this video out so that all of your friends know what's going on in this country right now, know what's going on in this state. A legal defense fund has been set up for, let me see if I can find it. Gibson Go. A legal defense fund has been set up for for Daniel Penny. Wow. It has doubled since last night. It is up to $181,000. I'm going to put the link in the comments. Feel free to give if you guys want. Obviously, I'm not telling anyone that they have to. There it is. The Give, Send, Go for Daniel Penny. Let me throw this into the Rumble chat as well. We have to hope that We got to hope that a jury of 12 New Yorkers understands that this is not the way to go. This is it. This will be the downfall of the greatest city in the world, of the capital of the world. And it is it's so incredible to me because people like Kathy Hochul. See, here's what happens in New York, okay? Democrat policies lead to more Democrat policies. Now, what do I mean by that? That seems fairly obvious. Well, you make the subways unsafe, so people don't ride them anymore. So the MTA has a shortfall, can't pay its bills. So Governor Hochul taxes downstate businesses to fund the MTA, who donate to her campaign, keep her elected. That's the way the game works. That's how this game works in the state of New York. Yes, Thomas Kniff ran against Alvin Bragg. Maybe I'll try to get Tom on the show to talk about this. But as I said, that's the way it works. And of course, what's Fox News talking about? They're sitting on Fox Square smiling. Brian Kilmeade sitting around with Ron DeSantis' balls in his mouth, talking about the weather. I don't know why this isn't the top story going on right now. I don't know why this isn't the top story. We got to hear about the weather. We don't need to know about the weather, guys. We all have windows. The fact that this isn't getting more play, the fact that this isn't a bigger story all over the place is shocking to me. And of course, there is things that they could do. There is things that they can do. This from the Austin American-Statesman. I want to talk about what Greg Abbott is doing down in Texas to right the wrong. A judge has sentenced Daniel Perry to 25 years in prison, but the governor has vowed to pardon him. Who is Daniel Perry? Daniel Perry shot a protester at one of these BLM riots who was walking around with an AR-15 rifle, had it at ready, pointed it at him. He then took out his firearm and shot back. He was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to 25 years in jail. 25 years in jail. But Greg Abbott has said he's going to pardon him. Because it turns out you have the right to defend yourself in this country. Or at least you used to. You used to. But for the left, it's not about right and wrong. It's about virtue and non-virtue. It's about signaling the correct things. That's why you had Caitlin Collins on CNN a couple nights ago attempting to fact-check the president in real time and fact-checking him incorrectly, by the way. On at least 3 occasions, she interrupted the president wrongly. But it doesn't matter because all it is about showing the base that you are on the side of virtue. Showing the base that you are one of the good people. That you're one of the good people. Let's refresh this page. Wow, it's gone up almost $1,000, the legal defense fund, since I just showed it to you. It's shocking. Look, I understand from a political perspective why Alvin Bragg indicted President Trump. I can wrap my head around why he did that. I cannot wrap my head around why Alvin Bragg would charge this man with manslaughter. 3 to 15 years. 3 to 15 years. So what do you do? Is anyone watching this ever going to ride the subway again? Well, New York Style, if you know him, please reach out. I'd love to have him on. I'd love to have him on to discuss this. It's sad what's going on because New York doesn't come back from this. New York does not come back from this. It's all over with. It is all over with. But New York is also on the case because it turns out now, not only are we not helping the homeless, but we're also, because look, I want to be clear. The system failed Jordan Neely. It did. He did not need to die. He should have been either in prison for his crimes or institutionalized for his mental illness. But we don't do that in New York anymore. We don't do that. We don't lock people up for committing actual crimes. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, if any of you have read his, what I think is probably the most important book of the 20th century, The Gulag Archipelago, where he describes in basically a white-hot fury over the course of 2,400 pages in 3 different volumes. He describes the rise of the Soviet Union and what it was like living in the Soviet Union. And in the Soviet Union, basically, criminals were not charged for crimes. Those who committed crimes were not charged. The repeat offender was not charged. But when the average citizen stepped out of line, those were the people who were prosecuted, because in the Soviet Union, look, criminals are going to criminal. So we can't blame them for that. But when the average citizen steps out of line, like Daniel Penny, he then needs to be charged with a crime. And once you get that sort of atmosphere, you don't come back, because average people do not engage in society when they feel as though they're going to be persecuted for basic living. But it turns out there is one way to throw a homeless man in jail in New York, and that's if you take a dump on a pride flag. Because, those are the real crimes in New York. We're going to get to that in just 1 minute. Before we get to that, guys, a quick word from our good friend, Mr. Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, please do consider supporting the people who support this show. The great Mike Lindell and the phenomenal work he's doing. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off on the website. I got my little guy, I got my little Rocky, a dog bed, and I got to tell you guys, finally, this crazy-ass dog can live calmly in the house. There he is. Loving his MyPillow dog bed. So go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. Thanks to the great people over at MyPillow and, of course, the great Mike Lindell. Well, it turns out there is one way to be arrested in the city of New York, one way to be arrested, and all you got to do is take a dump on a pride flag, and you'll be charged with a hate crime. Now, I want to be clear. There is so much wrong with this story. I've got this here from the Post Millennial. Let me throw this up on the screen. A homeless man charged with hate... Oh, what the hell did we do here? A homeless man charged with hate crimes after defecating on pride flags at a Manhattan eatery. Let's dive here. There's the homeless man. Yeah, this guy's... Crime Stoppers. Look at this guy. This is the world we live in. A homeless man in New York City has been charged with 2 hate crimes after defecating on a pride flag and using another one to wipe his behind at a restaurant in Manhattan. The incident occurred on the morning of April 15th when Fred Innocent, 45, walked into the Tapas Bar in the Upper West Side and took 2 rainbow flags from the table. According to the NYPD, he proceeded to defecate on one of them and then clean himself with the other. This was a total hate crime, said restaurant owner Courtney Burrell told the New York Daily News. He came within 15 minutes of us opening the restaurant. He could have gone to the Popeyes or the McDonald's around the corner, or he could have used napkins. You know what? Courtney Burrell, why don't you go to hell, okay? Because guess what, all right? I bet you wouldn't have let this homeless guy use your bathroom. I bet you wouldn't have let him use your bathroom. See, this is what happens, okay? And look, I want to be clear. Should you wipe your ass with a flag in public? Probably not, okay? But if you're that desperate that you got to take a dump, that you got to walk into a restaurant, take some of the table, and use it to wipe your ass, then maybe we've got bigger problems here than the hate crime to the pride community. You think this guy actually gave a shit about gay pride? You think he actually cared whatsoever about any of that? No, the guy probably just had to take a dump and found the closest thing next to him. But this guy gets charged with a hate crime. Jordan Neely, however, Jordan Neely didn't upset the people who matter. Jordan Neely just casually beat the shit out of white people, so nobody cared. Jordan Neely pushed people into subway cars. He didn't care. Jordan Neely threatened white people on the subway, so nobody cared. But wipe your ass with a pride flag, and you'll be charged with 2 hate crimes. First off, hate crimes are the stupidest charge in the history of jurisprudence, okay? Tell me one crime you do out of love. Let me ask you, if you're married and you come home and you find your partner in bed with the neighbor and you kill both of them, did you do that out of love or did you do that out of hate? But you won't be charged with a hate crime. However, if you get assaulted on a train and you punch, if you're white and you punch someone on a train who happens to not be white, you will be charged with a hate crime. Particularly if you do it to a black person. Oh, no, can't do that. You're supposed to just sit there and let them cut you up. I've got a story here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Train slashing. Daily Mail. Yeah, let me see if I can find this real quick. Where is it? Yeah, I can't seem to find it. There was a story in the Daily Mail about how on one of those cable cars in San Francisco, a man was wielding a knife and people were just standing there not doing anything. Now, why would they do things when you're in a place like San Francisco that elects a terrorist to be their district attorney? And I don't mean that in some sort of hyperbolic way. I mean the former district attorney of San Francisco, Casa Bodine, is a terrorist. That's not an opinion. He was raised by Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn. His father did 30 years in jail in New York for knocking over a Brinks truck to try to get Asada Shakur out of jail after she killed two or three New Jersey state troopers as part of the Black Liberation Army. He was quite literally raised by 2 domestic terrorists. Bernadine Dorn spent 30 years, or 20 years, whatever the hell it was, on the FBI's most wanted list. In San Francisco, a guy had to wait until a crazed person with a knife cut open his back in order for someone to stop this guy. Because you can't be proactive in defending yourself, because if you do, you will end up like Daniel Penny. Decorated Marine. Turns out that this man was safer in Kabul, Afghanistan, than he was on the F train in New York City. There's no other way to say it. If you're a Marine, you are safer at war than you are in New York City. It's wild. We live in a stupid world where stupid people win stupid prizes. That's it. Donald Trump said it at the CNN town hall. We're being run by stupid people. That's it. Alvin Bragg is a dumbass. And of course, he's a victim, despite having gone to Harvard Law School. If you need any more reason to know that Harvard is not impressive, going to Harvard is not impressive whatsoever. All one must do is look at Alvin Bragg and Joy Reid, two of the dumbest race grifters on planet Earth. It's shocking to me. It's shocking that more people aren't more upset about this crime. The Weather Underground, there you go. Johnny in the chat, as always. Guys, do make sure you're hitting that Rumble button. That's a thumbs up at the bottom of the screen. If you're new to the channel, hit the follow button. If you're on Facebook, guys, please share this video out all over the place so everyone can know that New York City is no longer safe for law-abiding citizens. But if you want to threaten people on the subway, more than welcome to do that. More than welcome to do that with no issues whatsoever. Also, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. You guys can use promo code LFA for 20% off at checkout. That's loudmajorityusa.com. We've got a whole bunch of new stuff for you guys. Let me pull this up real quick. We got a whole bunch of new stuff on the new website. Super excited about that. Bingo, bango, let's go. There it is, guys. We got the Raising Legends shirts for all you fantastic parents out there. The Let's Go Brandon beach towel. Donald Trump did nothing wrong. MAGA Ultra shirt. People are loving those. And then, of course, my personal favorite. Let's get a quick view of this one. The always popular News 12, as fake news gets, in case anybody was curious. Because, man, they have really gone downhill. I mean, Newsday sucks. Something awful. But News 12 somehow has managed to be even worse. You guys like the stock photo footage guy there? So head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code LFA for 20% off at checkout. That's the best way to support the show and everything we've got going on over here. I've got one more story for you guys. I want to make sure I get to this because Long Island in and of itself is not safe either. Long Island in and of itself is not safe either because yesterday a police officer in Suffolk was shot by a member of the Bloods. Oh, the Bloods! Very nice, very nice. It's good to know that in Coram, I believe, the Bloods are just running the show. The Bloods are all over the place. So, this from Newsday. I've got to use Newsday because there wasn't anywhere else. An alleged Bloods member suspected of committing a robbery opened fire on a Suffolk County police officer Thursday afternoon, striking him in the upper thigh. Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison said at a news conference outside of Stony Brook University Hospital where the officer is recovering. Police did not immediately identify the officer, but said he's the father of a 17-month-old daughter and engaged to be married. The officer, a 6-year member of the department, was in stable condition. The suspect, Janelle Funderburk, 20 of Coram, was arrested after a 20-minute standoff inside of his home. Harrison said, Funderburk. Oh, yeah, Janelle Funderburk. Oh, yeah, you're a real tough gang member. Real tough. Will be charged with the attempted murder of a police officer and the robbery that occurred Tuesday in his neighborhood. See, there's nothing, you know what the worst part about gang members is that they destroy their own communities, okay? They have no idea about civic engagement or building up their communities. All they do is destroy it. And then they try to take over what they've destroyed, just like Democrats. We're here at the hospital under unfortunate circumstances, Harrison said. One of our police officers was violently attacked. This is just a reminder of how dangerous it is to be a police officer. Later in the day, police confirmed that Funderburk was one of 4 people pulled from a burning vehicle by Suffolk County Police in Deer Park less than a year ago. He was a passenger in a BMW that overturned and burst into flames after the driver fled a police stop. So that's great. So a police officer was shot by a guy who only a year ago was saved by police officers. Can we hang this piece of shit in public, please? Hang him from the Long Island Expressway. You know, we live in such a soft world. I wish this was back in the 1970s where if you scuffled with a police officer, you know what happens? They bring you into the interrogation room, and then for the next hour, they just beat the shit out of you. And then, you know what? Go on your merry way. I wish we lived in a world where we were allowed to do that, but no. The ACLU is on top of it. It's disgusting. We live in a sick, twisted world where up is down, black is white, man is woman, good is bad. You know, I keep thinking back to Orwell's 1984 and how, were he alive today, he would be looking at some of these people going, guys, it was a warning, not a blueprint. It was a warning, not a blueprint. Wild. Absolutely wild. I've got this story from Hot Air that I think is absolutely hilarious that we're going to get to in just 1 minute. But before we do, guys, are you looking to redo your kitchen, bathroom, finish a basement? Do any upgrades to your house? Give my friend Dale Boucher a call over at Quality Life Construction. That's Dale Boucher over at Quality Life Construction, guys. 631-745-3222. Guys, support the people who support this show. Dale is a licensed and insured contractor. He will give you a free estimate. He's probably in the chat right now. Guys, support the people who support this show. Nothing like helping out small businesses. Go give Dale a call. That's Dale Boucher over at 631-745-3222 for a free estimate on finishing your kitchen, your basement, your bathroom. Dale does it all. Guys, support the people who support this network. Let me throw these back up there. So this is the world we live in, but I've got a fun story. Out of Yale. Apparently, a Yale research paper accidentally proved that liberals are more racist than conservative, which is obviously something we've all known. This is an opinion piece from Hot Air. I loved reading this study. I loved it despite the fact that the authors themselves didn't understand the meaning of their research. They thought that it proved that white liberals are trying too hard to be allies with minorities. But in fact, what it proved is that conservatives respect minorities as individuals and treat them just as they would treat white people. In the write-up itself is a bunch of liberal racist gobbledygook, which finds filled with virtue signaling, misrepresentation, and blindness to the meaning of the study. Truly glorious. Levels of stupidity that only an academic can achieve. I'm pretty sure it was put together by the Yale PR department rather than the researchers, who seem a bit more sober than the PR people. The study to which I refer is not new. It is new to me, though. So I feel utterly free to share my thoughts because the study confirms what everyone has spent time around liberals know. The Yale write-up of this study is a perfect example of how clueless liberals are and how blind they are to the reason and academics. So it turns out this Yale study found that when liberals, white liberals, talk to minorities, they dumb down their language. They talk as if they are talking to a simpleton because they believe that black people can't understand them if they speak in affluent language, if they speak using big words. So they sound and talk like they're speaking to a child. The team found that Democrat candidates use fewer competency-related words in speeches delivered to mostly minority audiences than they did in speeches delivered to mostly white audiences. The difference wasn't statistically significant in speeches by Republican candidates, though, quote, it was harder to find speeches from Republicans delivered to minority audiences, Dupree writes. There was no difference in Democrats or Republicans' usage of words related to warmth. What does that mean? It was really surprising to see that for nearly 3 decades, Democratic presidential candidates have been engaging in this predicted behavior. In other words, Democrats talk down to black and Hispanic people, while Republicans do not. Republicans treat their audiences of whatever race the same, with the same basic respect for their intelligence and ability to reason. Who is less biased? What about in a work sense? Perhaps liberal politicians treat minorities as if they were children, but the average liberal treats their black colleagues the same as their white colleagues? Nope. They also assume that blacks are stupid. See, I've been saying this for a long time, that I've never really understood the entire idea behind it being compassionate to want to keep people on social welfare programs. I've been called racist because I want to get rid of social welfare programs, particularly in minority communities. Why? Because all these welfare programs do is keep people on the Democratic plantation, in the great words of Candace Owens. The Democratic plantation. I believe that blacks and Hispanics can do it themselves. I believe in them. And for that, I've been called all sorts of awful things by 14-year-old drunks and failed school board candidates. Haha, yeah. You're going to lose. And, there's nothing worse. Now, I understand why Democrats will do the sorts of things that they will do. The thing I don't understand is Republicans who won't stand up for other Republicans. I want to know why every Republican out there is not condemning the prosecution of Daniel Penny. I want to know why. I haven't heard a word about any of it from any of our local politicians. Not a word. As if it doesn't even exist. Do you know why? Because most elected Republicans are too busy worrying about what people believe who are never going to vote for them anyway. They don't want to upset people. So what do? They cower in the corner and they cry. They're so desperate for every single vote on planet Earth from people who are never going to vote for them that they often don't stand up for their own principles. And that's why we lose. That's why we lose. AOC can be out there during the CNN town hall tweeting like a coked up stripper. Utter nonsense the entire time, and nobody condemns her for it. No one on the left condemns AOC. However, let's just say you were a staffer for a particular congressman who got himself into a little bit of trouble for some lies that he told. And let's say you hosted a radio show that no one in their right mind would ever listen to. Would you ever have on the guy writing the tell-all book? Unless you were some kind of a Republican grifter? But you kiss the right ass or something else, and you're able to get jobs in government. See, that's the problem with the Republican Party. I am ostracized by the local party because I call out this bullshit. And that's why you guys stuck with us this entire time, because I'm willing to call out the nonsense. I wonder when local elected Republicans will call it out as well. That's what I want to know. I want to know why Andrew Garbarino, Nick LaLota, Anthony D'Esposito are not calling out this unlawful prosecution of Daniel Penny. You know why? Because they want to beg for love from people who will never vote for them in the first place. Beg for it, please. No, I'm not like those people. I support this. Where is it? Got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. You're all cowards. But hey, I'm not allowed to go to the local fundraiser for the local assemblyman anymore. I'll be okay, guys. I'll keep my morals. Guys, we're pulling up on 9 o'clock. Make sure you guys hit the Rumble button on the way out the door. Hit the like button if you're on Facebook. Keep sharing this video out all over the place. If you're on Rumble or if you're on Facebook, whatever, make sure you're subscribed and following rumble.com/LFATV for the 1 o'clock show. That channel is growing bigger and badder every day. Also, guys, make sure you're following on that Rumble channel tomorrow, we are going to have wall-to-wall coverage of the Trump rally in Iowa. I'm very proud that LFA TV has been given press passes, has been accepted with press passes for the Donald Trump campaign. We will be inside the rally and monitoring it outside, interviewing everyone in Des Moines, Iowa. Super excited about that, guys. It's a big step for the network, so please do consider following them. Rumble.com/LFATV. Jeremy Harrell, Mike Crispy, Anna Perez will be on the ground in Iowa tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Wall-to-wall coverage of the Trump rally. Also, go to LFA TV on Rumble. In a couple of minutes, Jeremy Harrell will start his morning prayer show, Rise Up. It's a great way to start the day, guys. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out the shop. Oh, look at that. We're jumping on Rumble, guys. Make sure you hit that. We are so close to 3,000 on Rumble. I'm super excited about it. Guys, like I said, make sure. No, Matthias, we worked it out. Guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow for wall-to-wall coverage of the Iowa rally. I will see you guys back on LFA TV at 1 p.m. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. And until 1 p.m., everybody, stay loud.